It was an early spring morning. Morgan was standing by his locker, and when he heard someone yelling out to him behind him, "Hey, Morgan!" Morgan turned around and saw it was Leo. "You're late, Leo. As always. Let me guess. Traffic?" "Ah, as always. Did you try a new route to school this time?" "Yeah, I did. But still, traffic. Well, you should get used to it. I'm surprised you didn't even end up stuck in traffic." Um, I did. But I'm actually getting out of the traffic a little bit earlier than expected. Alright. Do you have any plans for the day? If you heard anything? No, not really. I mean, I heard something, but then the school bell rang. I will tell you after the lunch break. Sure, said Morgan, and both took off to the first class. During the first classes, Morgan actually had a good time, focused a lot. He actually is one of the well-liked students in the school. Always had a bad, always a good grade, and always well-liked by the staff and students. He was always polite and always helpful toward others. Around lunch break, Morgan was sitting by the table waiting for his best friend, Leo. Leo and Morgan have been best friends since elementary school. They saw each other not only as best friends, but also as like brothers. They are the same age, but they had known each other for so long, and they call each other like brothers. When Leo sat down and Morgan said, "Well, you're what about to tell me something this morning before the bell rang?" "Oh, that. Yeah. I'm actually the one to ask you. Have you thought about anything about the school's Valentine's Day celebration?" And then Morgan rolled his eyes and realized Valentine's Day was just around the corner, all about a week away. Uh, no, I had totally forgot about it. There's only one particular person who expects you to get there something. Yeah, Sonia. Sonia was actually a popular girl at school. But not only she was quite popular, she wasn't well liked by most other students for the good reason. She had been calling out some students bad names like stupid, four eyes, nerds, and all that kinds of things. But there was only one person at school that liked Sonia. That was her best friend, Kelly. "Yeah, I know. You know that Sonia has a crush on you?" "Don't remind me," said Leo. Said Morgan. "I know that, but I'm not gonna be with someone like her. How much? I mean, how much you've been treating others is unrespectful." "Yeah, I hear you, but she's pretty much not really expecting you to get something." "Yeah, I will try to make some excuse." But then, as they were talking, Sonia walked by with her best friend, Kelly. They just said hi and they said hi back as being polite. "I mean, she is good looking," said Leo. "Yeah, but has she been treating others? I mean, can you even blame me for not that?" "Yeah, I hear you." Rest of the day went perfectly normal. When the school was over, Morgan drove home. Well, he was on his way home when his mom called him on the phone, asking him if he could stop by the store to get some things for dinner. And he didn't mind since he wasn't that far from the store anyways. So he said sure and went back there and bought some things. But as he was at the store, he actually encountered another student by the name Sofia. Sofia was actually a friend of his that he had known since middle school. She is a very normally but also very shy person. Many guys had asked her to be her her girlfriend or anything. Morgan was actually quite surprised that hasn't even happened, considering how polite, how cute she is, but even that she's shy. But most people didn't know Morgan had a crush on her. Not even Leo was unaware of that. They did small talk about the upcoming Valentine's Day celebration at the school. They have been heard that there's gonna be like any, it's gonna be cupcakes being served at the as for lunch, as a dessert, and some decorations, and might be even be some games, something like that. Even though Leo, what Morgan wasn't really much looking forward to this day, but he had a wish that he could just be telling Morgan, Sophia, how he actually felt. But he was a bit nervous. She also said that she hoped that maybe one day, that soon enough before the Valentine's Day, or even on the date itself, that someone would ask her out or even confess to her by as a secret admirer. Morgan said that might happen if they just have the strong wishes for it. She said yes, and she hopes for that. And he drove home. About a week later, on Valentine's Day, every single girl was looking forward to get a card from the special someone or even the secret admirer, which some did. But as Morgan was standing by his locker with Leo just talking, when he felt someone tapping on his shoulder, he turned around, and who else than other than Sonia. "Hey, Morgan," she said with a big smile. Oh, hey, um, Sonia, do you need anything?" "Nah, just wondering if you have, you know, any card for someone special." Um, Not really," he said, even though he was a bit a lie on that. He actually did have a card, but it was from to Sophia. But he didn't want to tell her that because he didn't want just make her upset or something. "Oh, um, I mean, they still just started. Yeah, I mean, I might get someone a special card, but I don't know exactly when or if I get the time. But who knows? I mean, Valentine's Day just started, you said." "Yeah." And she smiled and she walked away. "Wow, you just bought that once, but you know that she will continue to ask you the rest of the day," said Leo with a whisper. "Yeah, but unlike that happened. So, did you have any card at all made for someone?" "Not, no, not really. Why?" "Don't lie to me, Morgan. I can tell." "Fine, I do have one card." "Oh, Sonia, maybe?" "Are you crazy?" "No." Then he explains who it was for. "Wait, who?" And then he explains again. "Oh, her," he said, a little bit whispered. "Yeah, good choice. She's cute, but yeah, I'm surprised that no guy had even asked her out yet. Well, who knows?" But even so, rest of the day things actually went quite normal. A lot of study students actually played some games, had some cupcakes, and even shared some sweets with each other. And even the principal had his annual Valentine's Day, which is celebration feast speech. And even though the rest of the dates went just normally, Sonia never got her card from Mark Morgan. He said that he had forgotten his card at home, and or that he was said that he might give her something extra. So just before the day was over, he managed to get some heart-shaped candy for her as her Valentine's Day gift, which she loved, because to her it never mattered much if it's a card or some sweets. But she loved it, and she thought maybe this is a sign for her that he likes her more as a friend. But she never actually got any response to that. But someone else did get something special. Because during that day, when Sophia went to her locker, she found a card inside an envelope. It was marked "Your Secret Admirer." Someone actually had said that he had a crush on her and wanted to see her by the fountain by the park after school. And she was feeling excited, like butterflies in her stomach and blushing a little bit, but she tried to hide it so that no one would ask questions. After school was over, Sophia went to the park to see this secret admirer. She waited by the fountain for an hour, or then 2 hours, but then 3 hours. But after 4 hours of waiting, she thought maybe this secret admirer was never coming, or she was been stand up against or something. But she decided to wait just another half hour just to be in case. She had texted her mom, said that she was gonna meet someone by the park, so she would be being wonder why he wasn't home yet. But this secret admirer never showed up. But what she didn't know, she would get her big shock the next day. Since Valentine's Day happened on a Tuesday this year, on a Wednesday the next day, when she went to school, when she was walking by Sonia and Kelly, they started laughing and said, "Oh, so you actually waited by the fountain for that long?" It turns out both Kelly and Sonia were actually at the park, watching that Sophia was actually waiting by the fountain. And it was then when Sophia come to realize she had been pranked by Sonia and Kelly. But Sophia didn't make her to sort of showing how much anger she were and also felt hurt. She didn't say even a word. She just walked off, laughing herself, saying, just pretending that she didn't hurt. But they continued to follow her for a bit to say, "So you're really expecting a guy to be fall in love with you? You're just such ugly nerd." "Yeah, you're an ugly nerd," said Kelly repeatedly. But Sophia didn't respond though. But after that, they just walked off, and Sophia went to her locker, and then she cried a little bit, feeling very much used, thinking of being taken advantage of. She felt heartbroken. She had always believed a guy actually did have a crush on her. But it didn't take long for Leo to find out about this, because he overheard Sonia and Kelly talking about it. When he told Morgan, Morgan was not happy. But luckily, though, he hasn't even been given Sophia his card. And during the lunch break, he managed to sneak over to Sophia's locker and put it in there and hoping to meet her. By the end of the day, when Sophia went to her locker, she found another note. But this time, it was not signed a secret admirer. It only said, "Meet me at the parking lot, Morgan." She wondered why Morgan wanted to see her. So, since it was no more school time, so she went there. She actually, by looking around at first, she thought maybe he also stood up. But it turned out he was just standing by in the shade. So, she walked up to him and asked, "What about this card about?" Well, then he then said, "Well, I heard what Callie and so Sonia did. I'm so sorry to be doing this, but that's not the reason I asked you to come here. The true reason is I'm in love with you, Sophia. I have been there for a while now, and it's not a prank. I'm really honest. I wouldn't even lie about any of this." Sophia was actually a bit surprised and a bit stunned because she was going to ask him if this was a lie or a trick or prank or something, but she knows that he's always been honest. He has never been lying to anyone like this before. So then he asked if she wanted to be his late Valentine's Day date. She said yes. They decided to go on Friday, but they also just decided to keep this a secret. The only other person who knew about this was Leo, but he kept his mouth shut because he didn't want to spoil this news to anyone else. On Friday, Morgan showed up by Sophia's home, took her to the movies, and they had a great time. Just having an amazing, great time. And even so, when on the next Monday, when Morgan was standing by his locker with Leo, who else showed up than Sophia? Sophia walked up to him, and Leo was the only one who knew about this. Morgan and Sophia was now an official couple because when they were standing there talking, and as then Sophia gave him a kiss on the lips, and Leo could notice something in the hallway. Sonia and Kelly. looking shocked. And after the Sophia had left with Leo, the same class, they walked actually what Sonia and Kelly walked up to Morgan and asked to Matt to know why in the world Sophia was kissing him. Well, if you want to know, Sonia, Sophia is my girlfriend. She is what? You kidding me? Nope. She is my girlfriend. But I thought you liked me because you gave me the because I gave you the sweets. No, I only give you sweets because I want you to be kind, and I never actually had a crush on you. And it's unlike Sophia, Lasonia, it was never going to be anything between us. I know what you have been treating others. That is the thing I don't like. You know I hate boys. You know how much despite that. So I'm sorry, Kelly and Sonia. If I did ruin your little scheme there, because I know what you do to it against Sofia on Valentine's Day, don't promise me I would even said against that. And don't come to say I didn't warn you, but you know what you did was the last thing, because soon enough the principal will find out about this. Not from me, but someone might tell him. Oh, as almost as if, said Kelly with a grin. Oh yeah, you know, someone would. Don't just be unaware of it. And a few days after that, he was right, because one of Kelly's targets actually was brave enough to kill after that he had a talk with Morgan about this. And Morgan convinced urges to this student to tell the principal. Sure enough, a few other students did show up and inform the principal. Both Kelly and Sonia was suspended for 2 weeks of this constant happening. But when they came back to school, though, they were ignored by everyone. Even the students hated her even more. They were reacted as pariahs, as nobodies, after they didn't even existed. The only ones who actually noticed them was the teachers, which were their job. But otherwise, no students did even want to work with them, either for projects or even small assignments. But yeah, so that was the last thing that Sonia ever did against any other student, which Morgan was very happy for. But eventually, Morgan, he and Sophia actually moved on from that big event and decided why not just keep it to themselves and just ignore any others. But after they have both finished high school, Morgan actually had been offered to go to another college across the country. And Sophia, she had been offered to go to a community college in town, even though that they will be apart for miles. But Morgan said he will be back every single holiday to spend time there. And it was something that she could agree on. So they spent the rest of the summer that year before he went on to college. And even though that she hated that he went away for so long across the country, worrying that other girls there were starting to hit him, but she had nothing to worry though, because even that did happen, he told them that he was never going to do anything about it. It's just that. But he also kept his promise, because he came back every single holiday break, Christmas, summer, and you name it. And eventually, when he was finished his college studies, he moved back home and he started working for this company for this hotel business. He actually started working as a hotel manager after his father, who's have a connection to the town's biggest hotel and also knew the owner quite well. Morgan was actually happy to have a great job, well paid and well respected one. And after he had been worked there for about 2 years, One particular young woman came in to have a room for a night, and he was stunned to see Sonia. She was still as before, very beautiful, but looked a bit older. After all, it has been a few years since he saw her last. She was just a bit surprised to see him as a manager, but also working as a receptionist. Sometimes this was needed. She was just asking how he's been doing, how college went for him. He said, "Yeah, college went well. I actually love this job. They friends my dad to help me." And then she asked how he's been doing now he's been single, all that. He asked, "Me being single? What do you mean?" "Oh, no, I mean, I was only assuming you and Sofia were no longer together. We have been together since high school. So you're still together?" Not only just together, we are actually engaged." "That's right. Just only about a shortly after Morgan came home from college, he actually had proposed to Sophia, and she said yes. But they decided to wait to get married after they had finished their college classes and all that, and even after they had found a very permanent work so they can be able to support themselves in the future. Since Morgan was working at the local hotel, Sophia worked at this grocery store in town. "Oh, well, I'm glad to hear that." Sonia had actually moved on. She had stopped being such as like a bully back in school, though. She was actually herself engaged with a man who also was a local. She was just saying that she used to stay there for a night, and he gave the room key and all that. But it was the last time he ever saw her, though, even though they just this small town. But it happened they ran into each other from time to time, but other than that, he didn't see or speak to her. A few years after, almost like a year after that Leo he got his job and that Sophia got her job, Morgan got his job, they actually got married. They decided to have a small, close wedding, and they just had it as a great time. They wished that they could have gone to a big holiday with honeymoon, but sadly they didn't have enough money for that. And since the family wasn't wealthy enough for that either, but they decided to go to the next time over to just rent a hotel room and be there for the weekend and just having a good time, which they did, and they were just happy with it. But then, 3 years after they got married, both Morgan and Sophia actually got a big announcement. They announced they were expecting a baby girl, which they named Sarah after Morgan's late grandmother. And when their daughter was born, they were both so excited and happy to be young parents. But just barely 2 years after that Sarah was born, they had a baby boy, which they named Leo after Morgan's best friend. Leo was himself was overjoyed and also happy to be Morgan's son's godfather and even named after him. Morgan hasn't been this happy ever since he actually confessed his feelings for Sophia back in high school. He had started wondering himself from time to time how his life would have been if he had never actually confessed his feelings towards Sophia, and if he actually had ended up with Sonia instead. Even though that was something that he may have thought of for a few times, but it is this happy that finally found his true love. Even it took a little bit longer than he expected, but he was just happy to found it. Even Sophia, even Sophia herself was really happy that Morgan confessed his feelings towards her at high school. Even how he treats her. He treats her like a queen, always kindly, respectful, and basically he loves her more than anything in this whole world. And for especially having this amazing family and this amazing husband in her life, she doesn't regret any single day that they became a couple. And for that, she feels grateful. And this is how Morgan and Sophia find a true love and got a big family together. The end.